Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Williamson. What's going on? Happy Father's Day. I'm recording this on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to my dad, who didn't want to be bugged today. Just wanted to watch the Open. Cool. We're going to do dinner tomorrow. You'll be getting this Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend. So it is officially the off season. You know, the NFL off season is barely a thing, but it starts now. I mean, these next couple of weeks are going to be slow. There will be some bad news that happens, you know, arrests and things like that. Hopefully that doesn't happen to Steelers or your favorite player or whatever. There could be an extension or two over the next couple of weeks. There could be a trade or two, but all in all, it's going to be quiet times in the NFL. So if there's something you want me to dig into, I'm still going to be coming at you 5 days a week. Feel free to hit me up at Williamson NFL. But I dug this up, and it goes back to, well, let's start where a lot of new listeners, and I don't know if all you guys remember this anyway. So I broke down the Steelers offense by quarter, EPA per play, or EPA per play by quarter. Understood? Okay. And if you recall, in the first quarter, the Steelers were 31st in offense. First quarter offense, 31st last year. Now, it got a lot better. 18th in the second quarter, 11th in the third quarter, 16th in the fourth quarter. But I don't think anyone that doesn't understand EPA and just casually watches on Sundays is shocked that this was a slow starting offensive football team. So I found some more info on it, on average yards gained on those opening drives. Just the opening drives, not even the first quarter. First time you get the football on offense. And to put it in context, Steelers aren't good, but the best teams in the league, Tampa, 47 yards they averaged on their first time they touched the football. And their offense coordinator, for the second year in a row, became a head coach. Kansas City, 44. New Orleans, 43. So it's not always just the most talented teams. Cincy, 42. Indianapolis, 41. Minnesota, 40. Baltimore, 39. So those are the best teams at producing yardage their first possession. Where the Steelers, well, let's scroll down to the bottom here. How about this? The Bears were last by a wide margin. 10 yards on average their opening drive. Again, compare that to all those teams I just mentioned in the 40s. New England, another terrible offense, 19 yards per drive on their first possession. And then the Steelers are third worst, 22. That's really bad. Really, really bad. And we talked about this on the podcast when I was breaking down EPA by quarter. To me, that just directly reflects on preparation throughout the week or understanding what your opponent's trying to do to start the game. Because as noted, it gets better through the game. You know, like they were 11th in third quarter EPA. So it's not like they don't know how to make adjustments. They come out of halftime and they're really good in the third quarter. I also mentioned then that because they're so ground and pound, maybe it takes a while for that physicality to wear on defenses. Maybe it's just a small sample size, but I tend to lean towards no. I mean, the sniff test just says this is a problem. So it's not apples to apples, but I also wanted to check out where the Jets were. Remember, Rodgers played all 17 games, but he's not the coaching staff. He's not the O-line. He's one player, but he's the most important player. So again, Bears were at 10. New England was at 19. Steelers were at 22. Strangely, the Super Bowl champs, the Eagles, were at 24. They were fourth worst. And then the Jets were fifth worst at 26 yards per possession, first possession, tied with the Jags and Titans. So that's not saying it won't get better. But I did just want to throw it out there. Well, what were the Jets at? I mean, remember, they also fired their head coach and their offensive coordinator mid-season. And it was just a bad offense overall. But I hope it's not a recurring Rodgers, Arthur Smith prep thing. You know what I mean? The Jets thing doesn't worry me as much as the Steelers side of it, though, of course. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. With baseball season in full swing, we're deep into the NBA and NHL finals, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. We keep the dog days of summer rolling with the largest selection of odds on everything. With updated odds on MLB, UFC, and boxing, to tennis and NFL futures, BetOnline remains your best online source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. This is not the most pleasant, exciting Father's Day podcast, but back to some more Steeler offensive woes. Red zone offense. And as you would imagine, it's been bad. And it's been bad for a while now. 4 years in a row that they've been well below average. That's a lot of different quarterbacks. That's different coordinators. Now, is Tomlin the reason they're bad on red zone offense? He certainly shares some blame. I mean, he's the head coach. But I will say they do that, 7 shots every practice, and they practice it quite a bit. They're a very competitive red zone practice team. But it hasn't come to fruition. And here's the numbers to back that up. So in 2021, they were 21st in red zone offense. Not good. 2022 was very similar. 22nd. Not good. 2023, 25th. That's bad. I mean, there's some bad offenses every year that are not winning football games. 2024, they were 29th. 29th in red zone offense last year. And frankly, I expected it to be a lot better with Russell Wilson. All the jokes I made about 1 year ago that, hey, they may actually throw touchdown passes this year. I mean, there was a 2-year stretch there that they did not throw touchdown passes. And I also thought, so the numbers when you say red zone offense are what percentage of drives, or when you get to the red zone, what percentage of the time do you score a touchdown? And again, bad. 29th last year. And it made me think, what if you had a below average kicker? Because all those times you're settling for field goals. What if Boz was just average, let alone bad? How many points would you have left on the field? I mean, he at least bailed you out to get 3 over and over and over and over. I think it's mostly a quarterback thing, but I think you absolutely have to look at the play callers as well. Wilson, again, threw a lot of touchdown passes in his career, but wasn't good in the red zone here. Neither was Fields, obviously. Your run game kind of got stymied in the red zone a little too much, too. You have Pickens and Freiermuth. They're decent-sized targets. Washington as well. I don't look at the team and be like, man, they don't have any targets for the red zone. And now you have Metcalf. So some of these things I throw out, I don't have an explanation why, 100%. I mean, we can certainly have some ideas, and I throw those out at you. But these are things I think that the organization hopefully is stressing right now. Like, why are we starting so slow? And why are we not getting the ball in the paint once we get into the red zone? Now, I just want to throw this out there. Not all red zone opportunities are created equal. So let's say you are driving, you're on the 26-yard line. It's 3rd and 8. You pick up 7 yards on 3rd down. so you get to the 19-yard line. That's considered a red zone opportunity, even though you only snap the ball once there and it's a kick. So you see what I'm saying? But I'm sure that all balances out, and their red zone opportunities were as equal as anyone else's. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to throw that out there. And then I wanted to end with this. I think we could argue that the Jets had better offensive weaponry than the Steelers. Certainly after Devontae Adams got there. Breece Hall, Adams, Garrett Wilson. But I will tell you their play calling offensive system was much more dysfunctional, and their O-line was worse. Again, they had nothing at tight end. Their first two picks were a tackle and tight end this year. But I will give Rodgers credit here and the Jets. They were 21st in red zone this past year. It's not bad for what they had. It's not great. I'd rather they were 12th and Rodgers was a red zone monster, which he has been for his whole career, much like Wilson. So that's pretty much all I got. Some concerning stuff that needs to get better with the offense. And I don't think any of you guys were shocked that this offense was far from perfect last year, but the red zone things have been bad for a while, and that early starting games poorly is concerning, without question. All right, everyone, take care.